All right. I'm Ann Sommer, everybody. This is my friend Trina Schmidt, correct? Schmidt.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. So we're coming on today to talk to you about what I titled the struggle bus. Are the wheels falling off? Do you have a hard time keeping the wheels inflated? And that's really mostly about mindset, right, Miss Trina? Is that what we're going to talk today about?
Oh, I love that. I love the wheels fall off the bus all the time, it feels like. Like I kind of have lost my voice the last couple of days, and I actually on
Mhm,
a challenge of finding my voice, and then I lost my voice. And so there's
mhm.
interesting learnings in that, right? So it's kind of the same as the wheels falling off the bus.
Right. Well, isn't that ironic that you joined a challenge, a Facebook group, correct? By your friend Stacey Lauren that is called Find Your Voice Challenge. And then you and I were supposed to talk last week, but you texted me and you're like, I am so sick, I don't feel good, and you literally lost your voice. Let's blame Stacey Lauren for that one.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what I found, Anne? What I found
Guess
is
what?
that we have to get creative in how we use our voice, right? So it's
Mm,
easy to blame, I'm now sick. I can't do it. I can't you do the find my voice challenge because I have to record myself and I'm sick. But what are
yeah.
ways that we can show up and still be creative and still use our voice? Because there's a lot more filling your voice than just speaking a voice,
Yeah, sure. More
right?
than just words, right? More
Yes.
than the verbal words. So what did you do? What is a tool that you use to continue to find your voice?
Well, you certainly use my internal voice just throughout my day, feeling not like a victim and feeling that I can still step into my creative process. And then I actually just still got on the video with my Smurf voice and my sickness and say, I'm just gonna be who I am. And
Yeah.
I'm
Can
still
you
gonna
do the
show up
Smurf voice? Can
in
you
my
do the
Smurf.
Smurf voice for me, please? What is a Smurf voice? I have to hear it.
Well, it's a little, if you hear my voice normally, it doesn't sound like this. So this is partly Smurf, Smurf voice. It's just not my voice right now. Somebody's
Sure,
hijacked
sure.
my voice.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's really true, right? In the internal, what you were really talking about was the internal talk, or your inner critic, or your self-critic, or men sometimes call it the alter ego. But it is definitely the one thing that limits most people at some point in your life. That is what I do. Is I do coach people out of the inner voice, and let's talk about that a little bit more. That is such a great topic.
Yeah. I love that.
Mhm.
Inner voice, ego, those little parts of ourselves that just stand in our way and not allowing
Mhm.
ourselves to move into the boldness, the boundaries, the power. This is what I am all about. I'm a fellow coach as you, and we could probably talk about this forever and ever. And
Yes.
what I really identified is where we sometimes lose our voice. Now we're using voice at this point, is when we're stepping into newness, right? If you're taking a challenge like Stacey Lawrence Find Your Voice Challenge, and you're stepping out there and you're becoming bolder and you're now manifesting some dreams that you've been thinking about for a long time, what I now notice is that people get stuck on some of the resisting, protesting people around us in our lives. This can also be
Mm.
that internal voice, right? We're now stepping into the newness. Now I'm going to be, am I worthy of it? Can I really do it? Am I really worth change? Is it really possible for me? Am I even allowed to? Is it possible to? But on
Yeah.
the outside, the people in our
Mhm.
lives, a lot of times there's some protesting happening, right? Because we're stretching the elastic band, and unless kind of everybody just jumps on board and be like, yeah, we like the new you and we like all this newness, which a lot of us
Mhm.
don't do. How do we navigate those relationships and those people around us that all of a
Mhm.
sudden now feels like puts a strain on us? And do we then
Mhm.
give up on our goal? Do we then play
Yeah.
small? That can be a real struggle.
100%. 100%. I think what you hit on is probably the biggest stepping stone, the biggest speed bump, the biggest crevice of people. Because we are surrounded by one, your family, usually, our close friends that become family. And that's your comfort zone. And who you are right now, before you make that decision, is their comfort zone of you. So when you start to grow and you start to verbalize dreams that seem like the impossible, it makes people uncomfortable. And when people are uncomfortable, they think you're crazy. They think and say, you're crazy, you're bipolar, you've lost your marbles. Why would you leave a job? Why wouldn't you stay there? You have benefits, you have a pension, you have bills. Society says get a job, keep a job, get a spouse, a partner, a dog, a cat, a kid, and then you just keep this cycle. And that really is like the dream. At least that's what we were promised, right, Trina?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
absolutely. So, I think number one, and I've said this so many times, and I'm going to say, then you tell me how you interpret it or how you coach your clients, but you have to figure out who you are to the core, zero doubt, because until you do, then you're asking for permission from somebody else for
Mm.
your dream. And nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to tell you, go and do it. And if they do in support, and then you go do it, they might still say, why are you doing this? This is insane. Like, who are you? And there's a lot of resistance, like you said, because then that resistance starts to really creep into your soul. And if you are
Mm.
not 100% secure in who you are, what is your purpose, and can you do it despite what the speed bumps are, what people say, it does really get hard to launch and to separate from the group. And separating from the group might mean you have to leave some of the group behind. They may not be in your life forever. So you have to be prepared for that also. Not that you just cut them out because they don't agree with you, but there is a level of growing that people aren't going to accept you for. They're going to have a really hard time with that. And then with that next step, I think is boundaries and non-negotiables. How do you spend time with people doing the things you like with them and avoiding all the rest? And that's how you maintain a relationship, I think, as you grow in yourself and your purpose and get rid of everything you were saying, that internal critic, and working through that. What do you think? What's your
Yeah, I mean,
opinion
I
and
think you're right
perspective?
on I call the You Inside You. So I have a podcast that's called You Inside You, really the journey of
Yeah.
how you find yourself and then you
Mhm.
develop relationships from there. We cannot really have those healthy relationships without really connecting with the you inside you. We're so conditioned, we're so conditioned from day one to depend on other people and rely on other people and uh, set up expectations for other people. And, as empathetic and intuitive and really caring women, we a lot of times tend to take the pleasing role of doing it for other people, maybe even enabling people. And it's really hard to recondition that part of us and really understanding what is it to really be who I am in a relationship. And when you're talking about this breaking free of a group, because that is what's going to happen when we start growing, we start expanding. We cannot bring everybody with us. There is newness. We're moving towards even bigger and better things and groups. But if we're not allowing ourselves to really identify where am I at, where do I stand, who am I with, and how do I communicate that with the people around us? Because if we don't set those realistic expectations and not take the protesting personally, we're just going to stay small. We're not going to be able to expand. So I think that you
Yeah,
put that really beautifully.
yeah, for sure. Communicating with people, especially the ones that are closest to you, is the hardest because you have to step into your bulletproof self, 100%.
Mm.
Just from like personal experience for myself and working with clients, there are always going to be those people in your life that you have to go that extra uncomfortable. You're the one who's going to have to open the door and bring up the uncomfortable subject because they're not going to. And it's part of growth and development, but it really is, how important is this relationship to you? And if it's that important, then yeah, you're going to have to be the one to step up to secure it. And that's where family and good friends come from. And then the other person gets to decide, do they want to meet you halfway? Do they want to continue this relationship? And that's how you know. So when you were saying like, how do you know? How do you deal with that? Well, it's part of the growth curve for sure. And you'll know that person will either want to continue that part of the relationship or they won't. And, people come and go. And it's hard, but it's just part of life, unfortunately, or fortunately, because
Absolutely.
you always find a new pack of people that are doing what you're doing, and
Yeah.
that's where you learn, right? That's where you
Yeah.
learn. Yeah. What's your recommendation to your clients? Like a tool that you teach or recommend exactly that you could share?
Well, some of the things, one thing, really a household item that we can do to fix any relationship is Q-tip. Quit taking it personally. I love this one. Um, because the protest, the
Did you
protest,
make that up? That's so cute. I've
no,
never
no,
heard
no.
that.
I have,
No, I love
it's
that.
actually it's a mindfulness tool. It was passed down by my mentor, and it was
Okay.
just mind blowing. I never had the same relationship with a Q-tip again. I've heard various
No.
stories of the Q-tip, people guarding themselves with actual Q-tips. But quit taking it personally was really, really a big aha for me, really learning to separate myself from other people's expectations. I do me and you do you. On a tennis court, we don't play the game by stepping into the other person's court to shoot the ball back, right? And that's what we tend to do at times, is that
Mm,
when there's something we don't like, or we either step completely out of the game, or we go over and we play the other opponent's ball because we didn't like the way they did it, and it just doesn't
mm,
work that way. So stop taking things personally. We really know that when people protest against change, they're really just doing a job of not liking change, right? They're not conscious of it a lot of times. People display bad behaviors or behaviors that we don't like at times out of their own discomfort. And as soon as we
right.
know that, and we know it's not about us, it's
Mhm,
about them, then
mhm.
that starts that separation of freedom. I mean, a personal journey for myself for sure, but definitely all the women that I work with is just this aha, like, wow, I
Yeah.
don't have to take that personally. So that's
Right.
really the one path of really getting there, getting into the manifestation or manifesting without compromising. I don't want people to compromise their dreams. To be honest, Anne, I thought for sure up until probably through my 30s that there was a limitation of what I could manifest. Like there is a certain amount for certain people, and I was not one of the people that could do more than a certain thing. I was convinced until I recognized this limitless manifestation space of everything is possible. The only person that's standing in your way is really you, and how
Yeah.
you communicate your needs and wants with others, and how you step into this dance of beautiful relationships. And my mind was just like, oh my gosh, where am I going to go next? So
Yeah.
when you know
So
that,
tell me
yeah, go
how
ahead.
you manifest. Tell me something you've manifested in the past year that it's obviously blown your mind. Like, what have you brought into your life that you
Yeah.
manifested?
So I really want to get into the online space. I've been a therapist for over a decade, sitting with people one on one, and I knew I needed a bigger reach. I knew that I need to speak to a lot more people. So I had in my head exactly what kind of mentor that I wanted, what kind of environment of women that I needed in my life, which, to be honest, at that moment, I did not think was possible. But I had a really clear picture of it in my head. And
Mm.
I stood very strong in who I am in my relationship, asking for the support that I need. And it came into my life. It's not a
Just
coincidence,
dropped in
you
your
know?
lap, right?
It
Just
just
dropped in your lap.
it dropped in my lap through, of course, a few people and a lot of stories later. But
Yeah.
a year later, I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, I'm not the same person as I was a year ago. But I would not have
Yeah.
done it
So,
without this community and these amazing women that came into my life.
yeah, 100%. So if you don't mind, you're making so many great points, Trina. So many great points. And I always like to give people
Yes.
tools, right?
Mhm.
Because manifestation, visualization, meditation, they're all words that are somewhat interchangeable, but not,
Yeah.
because they're all different practices and
Yes.
methods.
Yes.
So people out there are probably like, what does that even mean?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
This is the simple. I'll give you my explanation, then Trina,
Sure.
I'd love yours. But really, when you're talking about manifestation, you're talking about visualization, you're talking about you got to change the words that you let go through your head. That's why when I work with people, we have to clear out the inner critic, because what goes through your head is what your subconscious mind versus your conscious mind, the one that we can make thoughts, we can see pictures, we can visualize, and that simmers into the lower subconscious mind. And you have to understand, you just have to accept the laws of the universe. Your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between reality and not reality. It only knows what comes from the words you choose to use. So if I keep saying, I'm dumb, I'm fat, I'm slow, my subconscious mind is like, okay, I'm going to attract dumb, subconscious, fat, slow. And that's what you start to believe. And that's what you start to become physically. Now, if you can change that, and you can with daily practice, which is why they say, meditate daily or visualize daily. And what Trina is saying, that you knew you were meant for more. That was your purpose. That was your guide. And every day you started to bring in those words in that picture, because then the energy that goes out into the universe is going to bring it back to you. It's the law of reciprocation. It's the law of energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is always going back and forth, and what you put out is going to bring back in your subconscious mind. So now the next important thing that you said was it appeared, right? Here is the next key to manifestation is, people, you have to jump at the opportunities, period. I tell people, okay, when the opportunity is there, your job is to jump at it versus like, oh, that sounds like it might have been worth it, or just ignore it, right? That is the secret, is the opportunities are going to come in. Your job is to grab them, period.
Mm.
That is how the world and manifestation gets you to your ultimate dream and the impossible dream, how you climb the ladder. And it is sometimes that easy and sometimes that hard.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree?
Oh,
What would you add
absolutely.
to that?
I love how you describe this. I mean, we're
Yes.
certainly super aligned with all of this. And how I like to describe it too is if you have a garden, right, and you plant seeds, I mean, this is the
Mhm.
visualization. These are dreams, and you put them in the ground. And then you have the rest of the garden that doesn't look very good and you haven't really planted much. And you go over and you water the seed or the weeds every time you go in the garden and you're waiting for the big, beautiful flowers to grow. They're never going to grow because if we're not focusing on the image and the visualizations and the feelings, particularly that these dreams are,
Yeah.
we're not going to see those beautiful flowers. So we need to where the energy flows is where our dreams grow, right? So
Yeah.
we really want to water the right seeds. Like what are your thoughts? What are your feelings about it? And the fastest way to that is getting emotionally invested. Every time I go in and I manifest something new, which I'm actively always working on, um, I really need to get emotionally invested of when
Yeah.
I'm here, when I'm imagining this group of women, or when I'm imagining this group of clients, or when I'm imagining this new job or relationship or wherever you want to manifest, how do
Yeah.
I feel in that moment? Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
How do I really feel in that moment? And it's that
Yeah.
feeling that's going to produce it. It's almost like you're asking, what is your favorite ice cream? Right? And you can probably immediately almost like taste it in your head, and you find it in,
Mhm.
Publix or Safeway or wherever store you're in. And you have a physical reaction to it. And it's very easy to produce that feeling. But if we haven't train and practice ourselves to put that emotional connection with the image of what we're trying to manifest, it's just not going to happen very fast. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
and that
why?
comes with
Why
the
is it
people.
not going to happen?
What's that?
Why is it not going to
And
happen?
why is it not going to happen? Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that
You
is really
don't.
what I'm focusing
Yeah.
on is the people, when people now are not supporting us in that space. Like if you want your favorite ice cream and your husband comes in and be like, oh my God, you're gonna have that again. It's very easy to get discouraged. It's kind of hard
Hmm.
to stand up and be like, well, I would really love this one. What else would you like so we can buy yours as well? But if we continuously hear this maybe lack of support or
Yeah.
the criticism that comes in that feeds our internal ego chatter that we already have in our head, we're less likely to go in and really take those bold steps. So that's what I have an upcoming masterclass on Monday and Tuesday to really tackle this obstacle or this gap that people find themselves in so they can really navigate their relationships, they can navigate those people around us with the
Nice.
beautiful boldness and boundaries and balance, right? Balance.
Nice.
We all want balance.
Nice. That's wonderful. So you have a master class February 3rd and 4th. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
What time is it at?
It's from 12 to 2 Eastern
Eastern,
Standard.
Western, Eastern Standard. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. And they can find it on your web page or your group.
They can find in my group. Maybe we can put a link on. I
Yeah.
will send a link so people can sign up for it. I also have a
Yes.
group called Relationship Brilliance Community. People can find all kind of details in there, just like in your
Mhm.
beautiful group.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. Yeah, I just started a group that I'm calling Mind, Weight, and Wellness. Mind, Weight, and Wellness. And I've been doing my client and mindset, and now I'm incorporating my medical background. I've been a medical provider for 26 years as a physician assistant, operating and practicing medicine. And I've definitely love health and wealth and medicine, and I do miss it on a level for sure. What is going to be in the program is anybody who is on the GLP-1 shots and needs a transition off of it. Because the GLP shots are hijacking the system, and yep, they're working. People are losing weight. They're also losing muscle mass. They're also a 5% general cancer risk. And there's 2/3 of the people that come off the shots, and within a year, they gain all the weight back. And with the weight come all the side effects and the risk factors that they had before they lost the weight. What I'm finding just working with clients and talking to other providers is that we don't have a program to help people transition off the shots. You really, I don't see them as a longevity thing. They are doing great work, and there's a lot of providers that are dosing them correctly and really managing them. And then there might be some that are just following the standards, and it is what it is. So in my program, it is targeting people that really want ultimate weight management, that are activation products, not hijacking products. I'm going to help people get off and transition, do some basic labs for food sensitivities, hormones, and retrain them into like the part of life they're in. Like I'm post-menopause now because I had my ovaries out, and Jesus, I mean, I don't know about you, but the rules have changed, baby girl. They have freaking changed. So yeah, so I did a masterclass last Friday. I'll be posting some information on my Facebook also. So that will be a lot of fun. I'm
I
so
love
proud
it.
of you. I love everything you said. I think it's so strategic, um so strong, and we all do need somebody to help us through that sticking point so we can live fearless and bulletproof.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Anne. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
your time here. This is so much fun
It
jazzing
was
out
so
with
much
you
fun.
here. Yes.
I know. Let's do this again. Let's
We'll
do
definitely
this
do this
again.
again. All right.
Yes. Yes. Okay, everybody. Remember visualization with the